And Nik Nanos is here to break down the numbers. He is the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research. Good morning, Nick. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning to you, too.
So the survey shows that over 50% of Canadians believe that the U.S. poses the greatest threat to Canada right now. Is this an alarming finding?
It should be very alarming. In effect, what this says is the last year has been a gut punch to the Canada-U.S. relationship, which has built prosperity on both sides of the border. The fact that when we ask Canadians who the greatest threat to the security of the country is, and this is a survey that we did with Bloomberg News, that the U.S. came in at 55%, and then check it out. Look who's tied for second. China and Russia at 15 and 14% respectively, which means that Canadians are more than 3.5 times more likely to look at the U.S. as a threat compared to other countries like Russia and China.
Alarming indeed. All right, next, Nick, a survey done on the impact of Chinese origin EV vehicles on Canadians and the decision to purchase them. What did the finding reveal here?
You know, we know, Lauren, that historically, because of all the tension in the Canada-China relationship, that there's the views that Canadians have of China and Chinese goods have soured. And when we ask Canadians about electric vehicles made in China and their origin, what type of impact it'd be on their likelihood to purchase, when you look at the trend line, and we have a 2024 baseline, you can see that back in 2024. Only about one out of every four Canadians said that it would have no impact. Now that's jumped up to 53%. But check out, if you look at the red, which is more likely, less likely, definitely, and the less likely numbers have dropped significantly. They've dropped about 33 points between 2024 to 2026. What this shows, Lauren, in effect, that back in 2024, Canadians were looking at Chinese-made or Chinese origin electric vehicles a little warily. Fast forward to 2026, and they're much more open to purchasing Chinese electric vehicles.
All right, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture of the issues. Jobs, economy, and U.S. tariffs stand out as most concerning for Canadians. Given the announcement made by Trump yesterday, what do you see in the way this trend is going moving forward?
Well, the thing is there's the Supreme Court decision on the tariffs that Donald Trump has been imposing over the last while. But then there's Donald Trump. How long did it take him to come out of the gate to say he'll have a new, global tariff of 10% across the board? This speaks to Canadians and their fixation, their worry about jobs, their worry about the economy, and also intertwined with that is concern about the U.S. relations and Trump. And when we look every week at our tracking on the unprompted national issues concerned, it's basically a tie between jobs and Trump. And worry about Trump is up about 4 points to 17 percentage points compared to 4 weeks ago. Inflation is at around 13%. Worry about inflation, that's up 3 points. And then you've got healthcare, the environment, and immigration. But Lauren, what we're seeing is this intertwining of worries and concerns between Trump, tariffs, jobs, the economy, and you roll that all up, and maybe we shouldn't be surprised that a significant proportion, a majority of Canadians believe that the greatest threat to Canadian security is the United States.
All right, interesting as always. Nick, thank you so much.
Take it easy.
Nik Nanos is the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research.